First and foremost, I'm going to start this video off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Father, to Abba, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, for giving me the spirit to come back and do another video, or hopefully something that could be edifying, ammunition, or exhortation. I'm the brother Shahriyad. Behind the camera, we got the Ak. He's going to be reading with us today, or whatever, and we're going to be in the spirit. So what we finna do, we about to actually cast down, we should have got that. We're gonna actually cast down these strongholds, as it tells us in the New Testament. The topic we're gonna be going over is what and where is hell? What is hell? What is hell? Where is hell? So without any more further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Job chapter 26, verse 6, and it reads, hell is naked before him. Who was the him? The him is the Most High, Yahweh. And destruction have no covering. So hell is naked before him. So the Most High clearly know what hell is. We just can't figure it out. These so-called Christians, they seem to can't figure it out. But our Father, who reveals his secrets to the prophets, as it tells us, that hell is naked before him, know hell completely well. Okay? Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and go to 2 Samuel. Now let us learn before I say that, let us go into that, Shalakia. Let us learn what hell clearly is through these scriptures, right? So we're going to go ahead and go to 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 6. All right. You go ahead and grab that. 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 6.
Con.
All right. Con.
Alright, verse 6, read up. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me.
Alright, one more time.
The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me.
So it says, the sorrows of hell compass me about. That word compasses mean that it really means to encompass, like circle. You know what I'm saying? So it's all around him. It's like 360. So sorrows. Let's go and get that word sorrows in the Hebrew. Let me get that. I'll get that. Bear with us real quick. 2 Samuel, chapter 22, verse 6. So we're gonna go into this thing, but Satan, he gonna play. All right. 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 6, and we're gonna go into it in the Hebrew. What is that? Those sorrows. What's that sorrows mean? So we can get a real clear understanding. Because you get a clear understanding when you go into the words in the Hebrew and in the Greek. Okay? So it says, Kabal, or Kabbalah. You say Kabbalah or Kabal. You say Kabal. So Kabal is a rope, a cord, territory, band, rope, cord, pains of travail, pains, sorrows. So this is physical already. So now we're getting a clear understanding of what's going on. So pains, he's seeing pain all the way around him, 360, because it says, the sorrows of hell compass me about. So the pains of hell, pains. So we getting the understanding already. It said it encircled him around. It encircled him. It compassed me about, he said. It says, and this is David. This is King David saying this. The snares of death prevented me. So I went into this a while ago. What he means by preventing me, it confronted him. You know what I'm saying? It go before. So basically, it stopped him from going the directions he could have went, because the snares of death prevented him. So it kept him on his P's and Q's. If you can receive it. So right now we seeing hell to really be physical, not this spiritual place that people like it to refer to. These Christians, this Roman Catholicism like to convert it to. Is physical. It sounds like physical suffering already. So we can go ahead and go to, because we got plenty of scriptures. We can go ahead and go to Psalms chapter 17. We gotta spend too much time on that. Psalms chapter 9, verse 17. Salakia. Okay. It says, Psalms chapter 19. No, Salakia. 9. I need to give me some dark chocolate. It says Psalms chapter 9, verse 17. Go ahead, you got it. Come.
The wicked shall be turned into hell.
The wicked shall be turned into hell. Read that again, man.
The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God.
So I thought hell is a place you go. It says right here you could be turned into hell. So hell sounds like a lower state. It sounds like you being brought to a lower state. And you can see right there with that statement I just made, making understanding understood, where you can sleep in that that misconception of what it is. It is a lower state, just like we're in a low state right now. It tells you in a song by the OJs called Paradise. It tells you hell is a condition. Heaven is a condition too. So we read that one more time.
So the wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget Yahweh.
There you go. So the wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God. So the Most High can turn you into hell. So that's another cut to this place called hell. This place ran by this red guy, naked with a pitchfork, burning everybody with fire. No. Okay. So we can go ahead and get to the next scripture. We go to Psalms chapter 16, verse 10. How about some hell shot?
16:10. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption.
Who is the thou? The Most High, Yahweh. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell. Alright. Let's do something really quick. Psalms 16:10. I'm trying to be forthcoming. Oh, let's go ahead and get this soul. What is this soul? It says, Psalms chapter 16 verse 10 says, for thou being the Most High Yahweh, will not leave my soul in hell. What is this soul? This is by David too. David really wrote the whole book of Psalms. Okay? So he's giving us the clear understanding of what hell is. So we get this word, soul. We go into the word soul. Napash. It's napash. And it means soul, self, life, creature, person, appetite, mind. mind, being, desire, emotion, passion. There you go. His mind. You aren't gonna leave his mind in this. Heaven is a condition. Hell is a condition too. He in a lower state. He's suffering mentally. His life suffering. It says appetite. That's like your will to go on. You know what I'm saying? You have a will to eat. That's kind of like what an appetite is. Living, being, desire, emotion, activity of mind, seat of emotions and passions. So this we learning what a soul is. Activity of the character. The man himself, self, person, individual, seat of the appetites, living being, soul, the inner man. Okay, so your mind, because we really gotta weigh this thing out into the context. So once again, it says, "For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thy Holy One to see corruption." So he's suffering. He's talking about suffering in context. So that would fit mind. That would fit living. That would fit. Really though, that's really it. That's really it. We can go ahead and go to the next scripture. Psalms chapter 18, verse 5. And really anybody that, if you know our ancestor David, he was a real, if you will, sensual dude. He was real sensual. Like, he was really in tune with a lot of things around him. And he was also a warrior, we know that. But he was really in tune with suffering. And he was like Yahushua. He understood that he had that really like that low mind. Like, he was real, like he was into that gloomy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a so-called downer. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't that's what he was. He really understood that. So if you ain't noticed the pattern, a lot of the last 3 scriptures I believe we got was all from King David. All right, so we can go to chapter 18, verse 5. I get it. So it says, Psalms chapter 18, verse 5. It says, "The sorrows of hell," and he wrote it again, "The sorrows of hell compass me. The sorrows of hell compass me about. The snares," make sure, yeah, he's trying to get it to us. Get it through to you. "The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me." There you go. We go to the next one. Psalm chapter 86, verse 3. So we got too many scriptures going against this place with this little red guy with a pitchfork, who burns your spirit on fire for eternity. We get too many scriptures that's going against that. Saying otherwise about this hell thing. Sound like hell a condition to me. Okay? Psalms chapter 86, verse 3. Go ahead.
86, verse 3.
Come.
"Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily."
Okay, so there you go. So this is make sure this one. 13, Salakia. This is our misquote there. Jump to 13. Here we go. Don't think we ain't got it. Most High reveal it to us. Watch this. 13.
"For great is thy mercy toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell."
There it go again, man. It's a condition. It's a state of living. It's also a state of mind. That's what hell is. It's not a place where this dude burn you on fire and you're tormented for eternity. Most High get you now. Hell is now. Heaven is now. but not for everybody. It's simultaneously. Right now, it's hell for the Israelites on earth. It was hell in the ancient world for the Israelites. That's why they was writing about Yahushua. Right now, it's heaven on earth for all these heathens. Read that one time.
One more time.
Verse 13.
That's it. For great is thy mercy towards me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell.
So he delivered his mind, his appetite, his living from the lowest hell. Because obviously the word Napash went into character. You know, your character can suffer. You know, you're not being who you usually are. You know, but that don't really fit this. He's talking about his mind. He had mercy. His mercy. The mercy of the Most High. That's the Tao. Delivered David. Once again, this is a prayer by David. A prayer of David. The why. In the Hebrew, I believe. Or Bariyat. Okay, he delivered him mentally from the lowest hell. So you got levels of hell even with that. Try to pull off as much as we can off this thing. You have levels of hell. I thought hell was a place. There's levels to it. They ain't never mentioned that. I thought hell was just bad for everybody. It's levels to the hell. So it's levels to mentally, it's levels to the condition of hell. Alright, so we're going to go to Psalms 116 verse 3. Psalms chapter 116 verse 3. And David, he understood a lot, man. Psalm one of my favorite books. You know what I'm saying? And it's like really being able to sit down, you know how they always painted that back in the day. Sitting down, listen to, you know, your grams or your grandparents or whatever, the old timers, the elders. They'd be in a rocking chair, bringing out some so-called wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Old stories and stuff. This is like that. That's how I get the feeling of that. You know what I'm saying? Like you really learn a lot about our history and just about a lot of things through the Book of Psalms. You really do. You know what I'm saying? You really do. So, once again, Psalms chapter 116, verse 3.
Come.
Come.
The sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell got hold upon me. I found trouble.
Pause right there. How the pains get hold of him? How the pains of hell get hold of him? He ain't dead. I thought you gotta die first. How the pains of hell get hold of him? He's saying he alive right here. So it's so many. Bro, he's saying. Read that again, man. Focus.
The sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell got hold upon me. I found trouble and sorrow.
So there it is right there, man. He was clearly alive when he was writing this. He was clearly conscious. I thought this was a place you go to when you die. You burn forever spiritually. That's what I thought it was. But he said the pains of... So this place got a hold of him when he was alive somehow. But no, that ain't what it's saying. It's clearly telling you the pains of hell, suffering. It's a low state. It's a condition. It's agony. While you're alive, clearly, he just told you. He just told us. It's why you're alive. It's a condition. You think the Edomites finna go? You think the Edomite? We don't. Okay, if it's like that, according to Roman Catholicism, Christianity, which is set up by Roman Catholicism, you know, and going back to like Constantinople, etc. this clearly telling you, lost train of thought. Pains of hell. What was I about to just say? What was I just saying before I started saying it? Cut this.
Cut it.
Yeah.
Go back. Rewind it real quick.
Oh, so I can remember? Oh, no, it'll come back to me because we just be able to cut this. What was I just saying? I don't even want to have to cut this. Take this one time through. But it's cool. Because we could do it on your computer, right? It'd be easier if we just upload it from there. You can upload the shit. It don't even matter. Damn, what was I just saying? I had a good point. These ones lucky. Oh, So, according to Roman Catholicism, Christianity, Constantine, right? Don't putting all that crap into what the scriptures don't actually say. We won't see the Edomites going to it. We won't even see them suffer. Because we'll be alive, supposedly, even though they don't even teach that scripture, that true doctrine, that heaven, the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. They also teach it's going to be in the sky somewhere. They got people believing that. But even then, you still won't see your own enemy suffer. How the hell? That don't even make sense. That makes no sense. No. It clearly takes a hold of you while you're alive. It says, the sorrows, Psalms chapter 116, verse 3. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell got hold upon me. He wrote this while he was alive. This is an experience he said he's going through. I found trouble and sorrow. It's trouble and sorrow. That's what we're going through. But they want to tell you, we're going to go through this, then die, and possibly have to go through it again. Even if you were Jake going off. No, that ain't how it works. But that's for another subject of what actually happens when you die. But you don't go to this place called hell, clearly according to this. And it says that David's heart he has a heart after the Most High. So I'm sure he know which is your mind. So he telling us what this purely the Most High telling us what hell is. But according to you pastors and you reverends, these damn pork chop eating pastors teaching you can eat hog and all this other stuff, that we won't see our enemies afflicted. They're gonna live this life, go away, and you really don't even know if they're being afflicted. Because hell is imaginary. That's just what they tell you. If you don't go, how do you know what actually go on down there? What scripture tell you that? But they try to use the one of the rich man in the Gospels. That ain't talking about that. Next scripture, man. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 24. All right. I got another one too. You can get. We get this one though. Psalms chapter 15, verse 24.
Psalms of Proverbs.
Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 24.
Go ahead. Kind of take it back.
Okay. Let me see if I can get the other one first. Okay. No, this is good. I should get the other one first though, but it's cool. Proverbs chapter 24 or 15, Salakia. Good catch. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 24. It says, the way of life is above to the wise. Once again, the way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. So you clearly alive again in this scripture. Let me read it one more time. Get it the other way. The way of life is above. The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. What's beneath? What's above? The earth. Hell. Hell on earth. That's where you get that from. Where do we get this script? Where do we get our laws from? Israelites. Hopeful elect. Where do we get our laws from? We get it from above. Let's prove that real quick. Go to Job. Watch this. Where do we get this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from? Watch this. Job. Hopefully I can go straight to it. Job chapter 36 verse 3. Get that. Watch this. I get it.
36 verse 3.
Job chapter 36 verse 3. Watch this. I will fetch my knowledge from afar. What's afar? Let's read it again. It's going to tell you. I will fetch my knowledge from afar and will ascribe my righteousness to my maker. So that we speak of the knowledge of the heavens. That's above. I will fetch my knowledge from afar. That's Elihu that was talking to Job. And who was in on our conversation at the end ultimately? The Most High. He came down the whirlwind, which is actually talking about a chariot, so-called UFO. So it says, we go back to Proverbs chapter 15, verse 24. It tells you right here. It says, the way of life is above to the wise. What did he just tell us in Job chapter 36, verse 3? I will fetch my knowledge from afar. Afar, above. Afar is above. It's talking about the heavens. We can speak the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the heavens. That's what's afar. And that's what's above. What's beneath, what's above? The earth. That's where you get hell on earth. So it says the way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. Beneath the above, the heavens, the Shemayim. Now watch this. Verse 11. Hell and destruction are before the Lord. How much more? So hell and destruction are before the Lord. What did it say the earth is? It's his footstool. What's before? Before is like in front. He stood before me. It's right, it's laid out in front of the Most High. The earth, man. Hell on earth. Hell and destruction are before Yahweh. How much more than the hearts of the children of men? Basically this is saying, if hell and destruction is before the Most High. Because that's really the key thing. That's the scripture I was going to get. But I just wanted to prove this earth thing. The earth is before the Most High. And it says, so hell and destruction, which is what the earth is right now. You want to prove it again? Job chapter 9, 24. Job chapter 9, verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So if the earth is given into the hand of wicked, what do you think is on earth right now? Proverbs chapter 15, verse 11. Hell and destruction are before the Lord. Hell and destruction are before the Lord. Why? Because that's what the wicked bring. Hell and destruction. Vetoed by the Most High. So that's what he's looking at right now. It tells us that the Most High, he angry every day with the wicked. Why? Because what's before him is hell and destruction. The earth being out of course. Them changing times and seasons. All this stuff is hell. We're going through hell right now on earth. But anyway, Isaiah chapter 57 verse 9. We're gonna put this by the Spirit of the Most High. Yahweh show me how it's shot. We're gonna put this thing in the garbage, in a body bag. Alright. It says chapter 57 verse 9. And thou winnest to the king. Isaiah chapter 57 verse 9. And thou winnest to the king with ointment, and didst increase thy perfumes, and didst send thy messengers of sinnest thy. And Kendrick Lamar got that damn song. Sit down. Sit down. And then it said right on verse 1. I mean line the first what's it called again? It say to be or become low, sink, be humbled, Sit down. So basically the Most High done sat us down. Yeah, so we living proof, man. We're living proof. We're living this thing out right now. 100%. This ain't to be brought low. Go back over that again. That's crazy.
Once back to the top. It says to be or become low, sink, be humbled, be abased. To be or become low, to lay or bring low.
Hold on. Don't they like saying we was kings and all that? Yeah, we was kings. We was ruling. We had the nations trembling in fear. Trembling in fear. We could prove that. We can go to, let's prove that real quick. Quick little history. Go to Joshua. Joshua, like the first chapter. These people used to pass out when they used to see us, man. Because they already knew that we had the Most High on our side. And he was doing wonders through us. So they see us and get scared now. Because ultimately those still vibrations, but it ain't the same. They laugh at us, they call us out our name. I mean, we don't even, let me see. This basically when Yahashua, when he sent out the 2 spies over the land, and basically the heathen woman, she ended up making a deal with him. She was scared, but the point is, that same woman, she passed out when she seen the Israelites come to her because they thought they was coming to destroy it. Because Joshua was set up by, he was the protege of Masha, Moses. Moses was stopped from coming into the land. So Joshua was basically the next up to, like, Moses, Masha got us to the land of Canaan. But since he fronted on the Most High killed him. And prior to that, he killed his brother for what they did, not basically giving the Most High his credit. All right, now Yahashua succeeded him in leading us, okay, and then basically he was real militant mind. He had a real militant mind, so he sent out spies, and they was already hearing, because we was taking out people and heathens before that, before we even got to this point or whatever. And basically everybody in the land knew Israel was coming, knew Yasha Allah was coming. They knew. So when the heathen woman seen the 2 Israelite men can't come to her, they was about, it's like when they see Michael Jackson, they was passing out. That's how it was back then in the ancient world. Why do you think they give us the reaction they give us now? You gotta go back in your history and understand where this stuff originated at. You gotta go back into the essence. I'm trying to see if I can find this real quick. Okay, here we go. It's in chapter 1 and chapter 2. It says, yeah, here we go. Read Joshua chapter 2, verse 1. Watch this. So this is an example of being debased. This is an example of us where we used to be, and now look, fast forward however many years, thousands of years later. Watch this. Joshua chapter 2, verse 1. Go ahead.
Joshua 2, verse 1.
Go ahead. Read up.
And Joshua the son
Read
of Nun.
up. Read up.
And Joshua the son of Nun sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, "Go view the land, even Jericho." And they went and came into a harlot's house named Rahab.
So this was a heathen, you know what? Heathen thought. Go ahead.
And lodged there. 2. And it was told that king of Jericho, saying, "Behold, there came men and hither tonight of the children of Israel to search out the country."
So they knew about us. The king of Jericho at the time, he knew that the children of Israel was coming, and they need to be on alert. Go ahead.
And the king of Jericho sent unto Rehab, saying, Bring forth the men that are come to thee, which are entered into thine house, for thy be come to search out all the country.
So they already knew how we was rolling. We had a reputation back then. They knew. And they kind of still give us that vibe today. But it ain't. That's why they don't like us getting together. So they separate us. They couldn't they couldn't do this back then. They could not do what they do now. Keep going. Verse 4.
And the woman took the 2 men and hid them, and said thus, There came men unto me, but I wist not whence they were.
Keep going.
And it came to pass about the time of shutting the gate, when it was dark, that the men went out. Whither the men went, I would not pursue after them quickly, for ye shall overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof of the house, and hid them with the stalks of flax.
So she took our Israelite ancestors and she hid them in her roof. And the men had came up to her, but she played dumb. Keep going. She ain't ride us out, as they say.
Which she had laid in order upon the roof. And the men pursued after them the way to Jordan unto the fords. And as soon as they which pursued after them were gone out, they shut the gate.
So she sent them off. They couldn't find us. She made sure she did not give up the Israelite men. Let's see why. Keep going.
And before they were laid down, she came up unto them upon the roof.
Now watch this. This the point. You about to see an example of us, how we got the base, how we are factually the base, because we know for a fact we are children of Israel and the state we are in now. Let's see the state we used to be back then and how we used to be regarded then. Let's see, verse 9.
And she said unto the men, I know that the Lord hath given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you.
See that? So that's why, look, she could have got killed for what she did, but she put her life on the line just to make sure she didn't mess up with these Israelite men. And the king of Jericho, he the king, and they, the heathens proud, the ones that's in power, so they gonna try to fight Yahushua. So don't let that distract, that don't change nothing. He knew he had to get on it or fall. Because that was what was going to happen anyway. Read verse 9 one more time.
And she said unto the man, I know that the Lord hath given you the land.
Yahweh. They knew the name. They knew the name, because we used to say the name. Keep going.
And that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you.
Everybody. So you can see why they look at us how they look at us now. But it's not in the same way. And you even get examples of heathens or other nations trying to cleave to us like that. Because this lady was really cleaving to us. She knew, she was smart. What she goes on to do, you keep reading the account, because we probably just going to stop right there. She basically makes a deal with them. And she like, yo, since I saved y'all, keep me, don't basically wreck shop on everything else and keep me, just make sure I stay cool. And that's what they did. And they gave her their word. They wrecked everything. So you think that what the king of Jericho tried to do work? No. So we're the base. And why didn't it work? Because the Most High was on our side. You jakes can't even go into a dang candy store and steal a bag of fruities successfully without the cops pulling up and you getting a case of 10 years. Why? Because even though that's unlawful, but you can't even successfully do anything, the point being, because we don't have to, we don't got the Most High on our side. How we used to. You know what I'm saying? You can't get pulled over when you got clean plates and everything without getting shot. You ain't even do nothing. Let's use that example. Because you don't got the Most High on your side. You can't go to court, have all the proof in the world, and this collectively. This ain't, okay, what, it was some Israelites that no. Collectively, averagely, our average is we can't go to court having all the proof of the world and still beat the case. So as an example, it's a comparison of how those men came to look for us and they couldn't find us. Because we was ultimately doing righteousness. That land was ours. We was coming to take what was ours. What shall they say? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. In other words, hell no. You going to shall the clay say to the potter, why hast thou made me such? Why I got die by the hands of Israelites? Y'all the clay. Y'all the clay he don't care about. But anyway, that's the example of how you can see how we got the base. So we can keep going, man. We was going into Isaiah chapter 57, verse 9. And that's how we got the base. Even thyself even unto hell. And you heard what the Ak brought out. It said to bring low, read the definitions again. And the word for that, for the base, if you go into it in Hebrew, is shapal or shapalah. So you can say shapalah or shapal or shapal. And this the definitions.
To be or become low, sink, be humbled, be abased.
So we got humbled, we got abased. We ain't taking over lands and none of that no more. We can't even take over a park without them coming and shut it down and them sending us home and a few so-called niggas getting arrested. We've been humbled. If you want to keep going on some of those, you can, or we can move on. I think the point is proven. You can keep going. Let them hear it.
To lay or bring low, humiliate, to set in a lower place.
Everybody in the world know we were slaves. They remind us every so-called Native American month, Native Indian month, Black History Month, so forth. Just humiliation, man.
To make low, sit down.
Thanks stealing, Columbus gay, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. We've been humiliated. So we're in hell right now, man. Amos chapter 9. We got a few more scriptures and we're gonna close this up. We're gonna cast down these strongholds, man. Because they've been pumping this out for years. I think we could sit here for, you know what I'm saying, an hour, however long it's gotta be, for some scriptures. The true authenticity of the scriptures, of the doctrine of the scriptures. Amos chapter 9, verse 2. I got it. It says, no, I'll let you read that. Go ahead.
You get that. Alright, Con. Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them.
So you can dig into hell? I thought you gotta die first, leave your body, and spiritually go to hell. You can dig to hell? Oh my goodness, man. Read that again.
Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them.
I thought the Most High can only send you to hell. Where the guy, red guy, with his booty out, with the pitchfork, burning everybody. I thought the Most High can only send you there. They say, though they dig into hell. So they did this alive, and they actually got to hell. Come on, man. So right here it's showing you that hell is the ground. Which is why you get grave when you go into the Hebrew word for hell. You know what I'm saying? Which I believe is you got Hades in the Greek, and in the Hebrew it's Sha'al. Okay, keep going.
though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down.
Hey, there you go, man. Let's keep going. Matthew chapter 11, verse 23. That's scripture. I got it. Matthew chapter 11, verse 23. It says, Matthew chapter 11, verse 23. It says, and thou, Capernaum, which art exalted unto heaven, shalt be brought down to hell. So it's a condition. Did they actually get lifted up to where the Most High resides at? No. It's literally just saying that they're on high right now, as the saying goes. I'm all the way up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's however many statements can you mention that's said in the world to show people understand what's going on. They probably don't realize it, but we understand it. You know what I'm saying? You can't make this up. You know what I'm saying? All the way turned up. You know what I'm saying? That conditions. Those are mentalities. Those are mindsets. Those are appetites. You know what I'm saying? That's the word Nepal means, which is your soul. You know what I'm saying? So it says, and thou, Capernaum, which art exalted unto heaven, shall be brought down to hell. For if the mighty works which have been done in thee had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. So, in other words, Sodom wasn't hitting on nothing. So it's gone. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, Capernaum is going to be, make sure I get that right. Yeah. Yeah, so basically that was basically was a threat. You know what I'm saying? So it said you're gonna be brought down. So they was cocky. You know what I'm saying? Cocky. That's why I talk about not exalting yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because all those that exalt themselves shall be brought low. You know, Paul tells us in, I think, Philippians chapter 4, verse 12, it says these basically going to certain states. Let's get that real quick. Philippians chapter 4, verse 12.
Fine.
You go ahead. Come.
I know both how to
start. Matter of fact, start at 11. Salaki.
Sorry.
Okay. Watch this.
Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned
appetite.
In whatsoever state I am.
From the top.
Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content.
States. We're talking about states, right? Certain states of mind, conditions, right? Appetites. Right?
I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound.
There you go. So to be abased, debased is the same thing. He knows how to be abased and he knows how to be abound. You know what I'm saying? You can finish that off.
Everywhere in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry.
You missed it. Read that again. From everywhere. You missed it here.
Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry.
You know how they say half the glass half full? You know what I'm saying? That's where it's come from. That come from. This is where that come from.
Both to abound and to suffer need.
Because the Most High deals with balance. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about being all the way up all the time. It ain't about always turning it up. You jakes be going off. We used to go off. You know what I'm saying? You gotta come out of the world. Be not partakers of her sins, so you won't rape of her plagues. We're just talking about Babylon. That Babylon got y'all thinking out y'all rabbits, y'all mind. You We came over here and lost our mind. We got the base. You know what I'm saying? Because this used to be our wisdom in front of all the nations. So that's why they look at us now and shake our heads. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Prove that real quick. Salakia, chapter 4, verse 6. Or it might be, yeah, it's 4, verse 6. Yeah. Chapter 4, verse 6.
Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
Who's those nations? Everybody else other than Israel. All these heathens.
Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So
they know our potential. That's why they don't tell us who we are. And that's why they want to cling to our scriptures and our Bibles. That's why the so-called Edomite want to profess himself to be the Jew. Because that gives him leverage for everybody to give him space to take all the money and get everything. Because they got people believing that they're the chosen people of God. Because they keep up this narrative. I passed the Torah down to my son, and his son passed it to his son, and all this other crap. You know what I'm saying? It just told you right here, this is our wisdom in front of in the sight of all the nations. They know our potential. They know our potential. We've been the base. We're living in hell, man. We're living in hell. Wake up. Pray to wake up. Okay? Now, go to Acts chapter 2, verse 27. Okay, we're gonna get Bible question. We're gonna get Acts chapter 2, verse 27. So that's why when they see us on these streets teaching His word, that's coming to pass. That's why you think they stop. If we also know what we're talking about, why are you stopping, arguing with us, getting emotional, mad because you ain't on the sign, etc.? Because this is our wisdom in front of all the nations. Every single nation. We got probably almost 1 million videos of all the Israelites' videos put together almost. At least 100,000 videos. At least. Close, somewhere up there. We got a lot of videos on YouTube. And they've been deleting them for years. This ain't just started. You got elders that's been in the truth for 30 years. Plus, Salaki, that I know of.
Acts 2:27.
Let me get there. I'm there. Go ahead.
Because thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption.
Did David say that? And that's if you go to 25, it tell you that they quoting David. They quoting where we read that at in Psalms. I think it was Psalms chapter 16, verse 10, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Acts chapter 2, verse 31.
He seeing this before spake of the resurrection of Hamashiach, that this soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption.
One time.
He seeing this before spake of the resurrection of Hamashiach.
So David used to see prophecies and visions of Yahushua. So it's telling you, I'm only Old Testament. It's telling you in the New Testament right here that David, who y'all all believe in, you Old Testament believers, that he wrote of Yahushua. He used to see Yahushua. That's what this context is about. We was just reading verse 27. He only jumped 4 verses up. Go ahead.
That his soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption.
So there you go. So there you go. Because he knew about the covenants that was coming and the promises. Alright, Alright, you can go to last scripture. Revelation, we close out with this. Revelation chapter 20, verse 14. I get this one. Revelation chapter 20, verse 14. Come on. Alright, it says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. Yeah, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. Explain that. Let's see TD snakes, as the brothers call them. Break that down. How do you explain that? Creflo Holler, chapter 20, verse 14. How does Creflo Holler explain that? Creflo Holler at Chiguala. How he explained that one? It says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. So they took the place that's on fire, burning everybody else, and they put it in the fire. So somebody don't know what they're talking about. Either the scriptures don't know what it's talking about, or y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Alright, let's prove that. Go to Romans chapter 3, verse 3. We can close on this one. And it says, this is the second death. So death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. So hell died. Hell died. Go ahead.
3 verse.
3. Okay. So, as I was saying, either the scripture's lying, which we know can't be true, or you pass this line. Go ahead.
For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God
Jump up to 2.
without effect?
Verse 2.
Alright, verse 2. Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of Yahweh.
Salaki, verse 4.
Verse what?
Yeah, verse 4. There we go.
Yahweh forbid, yeah, let Yahweh be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged.
So we speaking what was just written in here. And what's written in here don't say it's a place on fire burning. That place got supposedly set on fire. So that don't even make sense. So it said let God be true, let Yahweh be true, let the Most High be true. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, let those be true. Let them be true. Every man is a liar. So if they can't show you that in scripture, like we just showed you this in scripture, it don't exist. And it's not confusing. Get last scripture. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34. I said that's the last one, but it's the spirit flowing right now, so it said quench not the spirit.
Corinthians 13:34.
It says, make sure that's not right. It says,
1 Corinthians.
No, 11. If it ain't in there, it's 2 Corinthians. Like, no, it ain't there. 1 second. Gotta get this one. It says, yeah, 2 Corinthians. Salaki. That's right. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 13. Alright, so yeah, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 13. We end on this.
1 Corinthians 14, verse 13.
So as I was saying, if it don't say it in the scriptures, it don't exist. Let God be true. Let Yahweh be true. Let the Most High be true. Let Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai be true. Let them be true and let every man be a liar. So we just read that that does not exist in here. It's saying something completely different. It's a condition. It's a state of mind. We're living it. It's being debased. It's being brought low. It's being humbled. It's pain. It's suffering. It's torture. You know what I'm saying? It's the loss of will. It's all of that. It's not a place. That place on fire where a little red guy with his damn booty out, his ass out, whatever you want to say, with a pitchfork, poking people, burning people on fire, that's being sent there. That place is said to be cast into the lake of fire and died the second death. So the place died. That don't even make sense. So it don't exist. What we just read is what exists. It's not confusing. Let's prove it. Go ahead. Verse 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 13.
Wherefore let him that speaketh in an unknown tongue pray that he may interpret.
No. 13. Chapter 13. I mean, verse, I said 13. 33.
14, verse 13.
14, verse 33. It's a lock.
33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches
One more time.
of the saints.
It's a lock.
For God is not the author of confusion.
Yahweh not the author of confusion. So we just read it straight to you. That's what he said. Nothing else to talk about. You can finish it though.
For Yahweh is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints.
So, churches goes into the Greek word ecclesia, which just means the assembly of the Israelites. And guess what? Most of these pastors and churches, these buildings, they don't even teach about the Israelites, nor do they claim to be one, or announce or declare to be one. So with that, we give all praises to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, call Halayim, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Wakabah, Wahadar, Brakadai Yahweh, Brakadai Yahweh Shai. Wow. With that, hopefully it's been edifying, bringing down those strongholds. With that, we say,